Good morning, moguls. A lot of people ask me, why do I call my viewers moguls? Well, the basic definition of a mogul is a person of importance. And anyone that I come in contact with, to me, is an important person. So I choose to call my viewers moguls. And my name is Shawn for you guys that don't know. This is a show that provides you guys with the creme de la creme of information, the exclusive information, and information that I feel as though will motivate you guys, will be inspirational. So today is a very special day here at Mogul on the Move. And I want you guys to take out your phones real quick so that you can keep up with what the show is doing. And follow me at Mogul, M-O-G-U-L, on the Move. And I'll be updating you guys on various guests that are coming. I call them co-hosts because I want them to kind of manage the flow with me, as well as the fact that I'm a real estate agent. So sometimes I'll highlight different properties that I'm either visiting or properties that are on sale. So for today, Black History Month, I want to kind of just start off with what inspired me to want to create Mogul on the Move, as well as a live radio TV show. And shout out to Oscar, the owner of Edge Radio TV, for even thinking of me for this type of opportunity. So about 7 to 8 years ago, I came up with the idea of Mogul on the Move because I was talking and conversing and just coming in contact with so many women that had lives that just had constant movement, whether it was my best friend of mine who's now in New York. Shout out to Shawn. She moved out there years ago to work for a pharmaceutical company, constantly on the go. Her and her dog babies, and then coming back and forth to Houston to visit with family, to take care of a parent, constantly on the go. It could be a friend, another friend that I have that's over the Archdiocese nutrition, constantly on the go, dealing with family, friends, attending events, or it could be someone that I just esteemed. One young lady is Shawn Johnson, and she actually was on my show. I met her years ago. She's a best friend of mine now. I met her years ago in the political world, and just watching her as a mother, as a wife, then becoming a single mother, constantly traveling with positions that she had, constantly on the move, and just, to me, connecting these women together was so important to me, because sometimes we can get in our little box, and sometimes women aren't as supportive of other women for whatever reason. We could go down a long rabbit hole for the reasoning, but I felt it was important to have an organization that was about empowerment. And so if you go to my website, Mogul on the Move, simple as that, Mogul on the Move, www, you'll see some past events that I've attended or have been a part of. The last major event was a Super Bowl event, actually, with Elise Neal, who you guys may know from TV and as well as acting on the big screen. And so to me, it was important now to elevate and graduate to a live radio talk show so that I can have these women be visible to you guys and to, provide us with information that we may not be privy to, or to inspire us, because I'm definitely inspired by any co-host that you see here on the show. I've invited them because they have inspired me. Now, the women that I've had thus far have been African American women. I am going to have various cultures, various backgrounds on the show because, this is the United States of America and I love all women. Simple as that. But the women that I've had on thus far have been African American women, and they are truly the definition of Black history. My guest that's coming up next, Chef Shay, to me embodies that. Not only is she a celebrity chef, which means that she had to leave her 9 to 5, right? Her 9 to 5, and become an entrepreneur. Now, those who paved the way for us before have allowed us to have these type of platforms, have allowed us to find that, that strength within to want to delve out into entrepreneurship, which is not easy because if you don't work, guess what? You do not eat. You don't have that guaranteed paycheck coming every week or bi-weekly every 2 weeks or monthly. You don't have that guaranteed salary. So it's very, very inspiring to me when someone truly follows their passion and follows their dream and opens up their own business. Besides that, you guys probably know her more so from being on TV, being a reality TV star. She started some years ago on the OWN network with To Roam with Love, and just here recently, she's been a part of the cast for Ready to Love Houston. And so we're definitely going to delve into what her love life has been since Ready to Love, as well as talk about her new seasoning, which I actually purchased, and it is delicious for you guys who prefer more bland food. Just the salt and pepper. It's not for you. It's for those of us who want to get our life as we're experiencing our food. And so she's going to talk about that, explain to you guys how you can purchase it, as well as we're going to delve into her being a celebrity chef and a personal chef. So just because she's a celebrity chef doesn't mean that she's not touchable. She's here in Houston, in the Houston area, now living. She does travel, but she's based here in Houston. And so she's going to share with you how you can reach out to her to cater your event, as well as she has meal planning. So we will be delving into all of those areas of her life. But as for me, those women that have inspired me the most, I must say, are the women in my family. Watching them go to college, get their degrees, go back, get their masters, go back, get their PhDs for some of them, PhD, as well as raising families, being wives while they're juggling careers. I'm a single parent, so, and being an entrepreneur myself, being a real estate agent, if you don't sell a home, you don't get paid. If you don't get out there and network. I also, of course, you guys know, am in the political world as a campaign manager, and I help with other political endeavors, such as there's an election coming up with the school boards, and so I'll be kind of assisting with that. But if I don't work, guess what? I don't get paid. So the example that I pretty much follow is those that are in my immediate family. Now, I do have women outside that are Black African American women, such as Michelle Obama, such as Oprah. I'm a huge Oprah fan as well. Such as Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, that I've, esteem, that I look up to. But the most important women, and the women that have had the most impact on my life, are those that are closest to me. My mother, who was a single mother for years, a school teacher, retired now. My grandmother, who was a stay-at-home wife, raised her family, and then in later age, you guys, in her 50s, she decided to go to work. Everybody's out of the house doing their own thing, and she decided, hey, I'm going to go out there and make my own pathway, which was very inspiring for me to see. As well as my mother that raised me, that passed away, who in the 50s got her degree, went back and got her master's, traveled the world, became a wife, a mother, raised my brother and I, and just the culture and just I don't want to get emotional talking about her, but I'm sorry, guys. Just the culture and the love that she instilled in us, and the strength that she instilled in us, to where we felt like we could do anything, that anything was possible, anything was attainable, to me is a true definition of Black history, a true definition of empowering those closest to you, because empowering your community means nothing if those closest to you have not been inspired by your life, right? To me, what's most important is leaving a legacy for my daughter, for my family members, for my friends, who really, all of my friends are like family. Those that I consider friends are like family. To me, that's the most important thing, and that's the contribution that I want to leave as it pertains to Black history. Now, what I'm going to ask of you guys for this month, because mainly during Black History Month, we're highlighting those individuals who I'm going to say are the most famous, whether it be internationally, nationally, or in your local city. But I want us to take this time for 2021 because it's such a special moment, I think. After experiencing 2020, 2021 should be more of an intimate time this year. I want us to highlight and reach out to those who are the closest to us, who have impacted us. Not just praising those who we see on TV or who we see highlighted on the news, who we see in the magazines, or we're scrolling our Instagram pages or Facebook pages. Let's reach out and show appreciation to those who are down the street. The mother in the church that helped raise us. Let's reach out to her and thank her for her guidance and how she has impacted our lives. Let's reach out to a parent. Maybe some of you guys, and I know one person who has not spoken to their parent in some time. Maybe reaching out to a parent and mending that relationship. Maybe telling a friend how important they are to us and how they've impacted our lives and how they've blessed us. And I have on my blessed shirt today, my blessed t-shirt, because I am blessed to be an African woman in the United States of America right now. Shout out to the VP. But reach out to a sibling and just share with them your sentiment and how much they mean to you. You know, Black history starts at home. It should, at least. It starts at home, and it starts with highlighting and loving those who are closest to us, which sometimes, you know, we can kind of put on the back burner for whatever reason, whether it be because of work, career, just our everyday routine. But I want us to take this Black History Month as you're praising and honoring those celebrated figures. I want us to take this month to spend that intimate time and to praise and to honor those who are closest to us. So I want to take this time to honor my mother, Rhea Quarles, to honor my sister, Sharia Quarles, to honor my grandmother, Eunice Allen, to honor my daughter, Brooke Wilson, to honor my father who's still living, Michael Mitchell, to honor my mother who passed some years ago. Actually, she passed right before I got my college degree. Norma Jean Mitchell. I want to honor my brother, Shawn. He's also a Shawn, S-E-A-N, Shawn Mitchell. I want to honor my closest friends, and I don't want to say all their names because there's not too many. I have a close-knit circle, but I want to honor my close friends who are my sister friends. And I want to honor you guys, the viewers who are watching. We all have our own stories. We all have our own journey. But I believe that you guys are inspiring others, are motivating others to reach for greatness. And that is exactly what Black history is about. It's inspiring others. It's motivating others to reach for greatness. So what is your purpose? What is your purpose? I want to say for this year. Mine's is to delve more into really, I'll say this, I'm a hard worker, but certain things that I might have fear of, I may procrastinate and go slower at. So delving into what that reasoning is and really putting my foot down is one of my purposes this year. Because sometimes you can get stagnant and say, well, I'm working hard, I'm achieving all these things, but I do have a couple of things that I need to stop procrastinating on. My purpose is to motivate even more, to highlight amazing women, amazing moguls, to hopefully motivate you guys and inspire you guys to reach for greatness because you deserve it. Hopefully I'm here as a listening ear, as comfort, and just being more intentional in 2021, right? Just being more intentional in 2021. Hey, we can all do better, right? So with that being said, we're going to take a break and we're going to return with the wonderful, wonderful, beautiful Chef Shay. All right, guys, we'll be right back.
We work our whole lives to support our families. With one accident or illness, it can all be gone in an instant. Now there's a smart, affordable way to protect your family. Go to findhealthbenefits.com and discover low-cost life insurance for as little as $2 per month. Add to that a tax-deferred annuity that can help you protect your assets and grow your money for retirement. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. A critical illness can strike without warning and wipe out your life savings. In fact, it's the #1 reason for bankruptcy. Find Health Benefits offers an affordable solution. Get up to $50,000 if you get cancer, stroke, or a heart attack, giving you the peace of mind to focus on getting better while the plan helps you to pay your bills and medical expenses. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. 66% of seniors spend more time shopping for cable TV than Medicare plans. Most say because it's just too confusing. Laws change every year. The wrong plan could cost you thousands and prevent you from seeing the doctors you want. Introducing FindHealthBenefits.com. Save time, save money, see specialists without referrals. Go to FindHealthBenefits.com or call 877-235-6094 for this informative brochure.
Society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
The Natural Nation Network is really about taking control of your health physically, spiritually, emotionally, even intellectually, because there's so much out there in misinformation. There's a lot of people now that are suffering from all sorts of diseases that they really wouldn't have to suffer for if they had better information. And that's what we're here to do. Provide information that can save lives.
The mind and the body are totally connected.
Health can be really serious, and sometimes we just have to lighten it up a little bit while we're still providing substantive information.
And my sort of mantra on the salsa dance floor is kind of similar. I tell somebody, if you make a mistake twice, it becomes a move. Okay,
Tune into Natural Nation every Tuesday at 11 a.m.
All right, Mogul, so we are back, and we're going to have a bit of an unorthodox show today. Chef Shay is having a bit of an emergency, so she's unable to make it. Her PR just told me. So I'm going to still highlight her because we still want her to be a part of the show, even though she's unable to make it due to things not in her control. So I'm going to share her house seasoning and give you guys her website to visit. And once again, like I said earlier, I do have her seasoning. It is delicious. And I'll share with you in a few some of the things that I've had her cater for me. So her house seasoning is Chef Shay specialty seasoning. It's $7.99. Chef Shay specialty seasoning, and her website is www.chefshay.com. Now this seasoning, really you can use it on anything. It's one of those. It's kind of like Tony Chachery, where you can use it on seafood or your steak or chicken, whatever, even vegetables. I don't know if you guys are like me. I like to put seasoning on my vegetables as well. It literally is an all-purpose seasoning. It's very flavorful, but it's not too powerful. So it truly is a good blend that she's been able to create. I'm going to read some of the ingredients. It's onion powder, garlic salt, paprika, Cajun spice, black pepper, basil, rosemary, oregano, dried lemon, thyme, and sage. So you guys, just from that list, you know that this is what you want to purchase. So I'm going to share some of the other things that she provides. Now, we all know her as a celebrity chef, but she is available. If you go to chefshay.com, there's contact information for you to be able to contact her if you want her to cater an event, large or small. She does the full gambit. She also has meal prep. So she has a meat lover's meal prep. She has a no carb meal prep. She has a pescatarian meal prep. And then she also has her standard meal preps. And there's various pricings for them all. So definitely we want to reach out to her at www.chefshay.com. And then she's easy to find on Instagram and Facebook as well, at Chef Shay, ChefShay. So I first started becoming a fan of Chef Shay. Of course, when anyone from Houston, I'm gonna be a fan, but of any woman, be a fan and support. But she was on a reality show. I think To Rome with Love is about maybe like 8 years old, maybe 8 years. But this lady Valentine, who's kind of like a matchmaker, was the host or the narrator of the show, and she brought the ladies to Rome. And Chef Shay, what I appreciated about her, and she's the same with Ready to Love. She's always such a genuine soul, like a very genuine figure on TV. And sometimes reality TV, you can tell those individuals who are being characters, right? Who are putting on a show and acting. They don't seem genuine. But she has always seemed genuine. She's never wavered from being who she is. Now, as it pertains to me supporting her culinary career, I've purchased such things as her jerk turkey, which is a fried turkey with a jerk seasoning. And it is, oh, guys, it is delicious. Like, I can't explain. It's my first time having jerk turkey. It was me purchasing from her. Her truffle mac and cheese is, the best mac and cheese, literally. Everyone that had it when I purchased, I had it for Christmas. I didn't do that for Thanksgiving. I purchased something else for Thanksgiving. But for Christmas, I had her truffle mac and cheese. Her greens are just seasoned so well. I got that. I think those were the two. Her homemade cranberry sauce from scratch is really, really, really tasty. And then I purchased the jerk turkey. So that's what I've purchased from her thus far. And her house seasoning. Besides that, I really am just motivated by her because she definitely is a go-getter. She has actually for Christmas, she did Adopt a Family Santa Claus meal that you purchased. So there was a specific amount of proceeds that went to a family. So not only is she focusing on her own career, she took the time out to give back, which is very important to me. Sometimes we can get in our own worlds and kind of forget to give back. So it means a lot to me that she would take the time to give back to those families. So that to me is her, the essence of who Chef Shay is. And we will definitely invite her back onto the show So with that being said, I'm going to be speaking with my co-host for today, which is our engineer here. Vince, thank you so much for being my co-host last minute.
Anything you need, I'm here.
For the day. So
yeah,
I want to highlight, of course, the woman of the hour, of the moment, of the month, the decade, the century, VP, our Vice President Kamala Harris. Can we say I am just so wowed by the fact that, yes, let's give it up to her. I mean, first of all, I didn't see it coming. I don't think anybody, and you may have a different opinion, Vince. I don't think anybody that I spoke to, or just me watching individuals doing commentary, those figures that we go to watch on CNN or MSNBC, ABC, whatever news outlet that you go to, I don't think anybody guessed that Joe Biden, President Biden, was going to pick her as their VP. How did you feel about that? Were you shocked? Because I was kind of shocked.
well, I wasn't. I was more so shocked that it was her,
Okay.
because the story was, or at least leading up to it, that it was going to be a woman,
Yeah.
and that was the news circulating. And I didn't know who. I mean, my first guess was Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah.
Because everyone was talking about Elizabeth Warren, and but when Kamala Harris came, I was like, really? But then I started to think about it. It makes sense when I thought about today's climate and how things are. Like, Joe Biden, his running mate, not only needs to be a woman, probably needs to be a woman of color.
Exactly.
And I think he chose perfectly well.
Perfect. Everybody started talking about Elizabeth Warren, and what turned me off about that running mate is that to unite the country, we couldn't have somebody so extreme, and she is, a bit of a leftist. She just is. She's an extreme. So I thought, woman, yes, but because she's so extreme, it's going to be hard for him to get. Because he had to get some of those Republican votes. Now, let's just be real. He had to turn some Republican votes, and they were not going to vote for her. No, hands down. And so I was a lot of people started saying Cory Booker, no.
Yeah.
That he's another one that's, kind of a bit of an extremist, and some of you may disagree, but he is a bit extremist. So I'm like you. When Kamala Harris came up, I was like, wow, I never would have dreamt. Here's why a lot of people didn't think about her, because they kind of butted heads.
Absolutely, yeah.
They butted heads during that campaign trail.
I remember during debates, like, she would call him out, and I'm like, man, I mean, so I thought that was
vice versa. Yeah.
That was pretty big of him, I thought, to reach out to her and sort of extend that olive branch and be like, it shows that he recognizes her potential, what she's capable of, what she's already achieved, which I thought was amazing. But
yeah, I think he probably, because I know she was close friends with his son, and so I think that maybe that helped too. He was able to, because he kind of called her on the floor too, right? So about her policies when she was, AG. So I think that maybe that relationship with Bo is what also kind of was able to allow him to, and she, to sever those ties and kind of look past, okay, because they know, here's the thing. In a campaign, it is what it is. When you're debating, you're going to call out the other person's faults or where they could have done better. Because there's no one candidate that is a perfect candidate. It's impossible. We're not perfect people. Therefore, we're not going to be perfect candidates. Obama's probably the closest that I would say. But he's not even a perfect person or candidate or president. No one is. So you already go into it knowing that you're going to call out. Now, you do have some that stood out, like a Ted Cruz, who I didn't care for, who kind of were a bit extreme or straddled the fence a bit too much, right? But for the most part, candidates know that, hey, we're going to be up here slinging a little bit of dirt. We're going to be calling each other out. And so I was so glad. And I will say this, and I'll let you chime in. I really feel like they have a true, genuine relationship. A true, genuine relationship. Like when you see them interact with each other, it doesn't seem forced or unnatural. They seem to truly have sentiment toward each other. I don't know how you feel about watching their interactions.
Yeah, I've kept a close look at that. Actually, I've actually compared their interactions on some level to what he and Obama had. It felt very natural. A lot of times you see a candidate and their running mate, and it feels a little forced. I've seen it with Democratic parties and Republican parties where they chose the running mate because they like, well, if I choose this person, I might win. I might win with this
Get
person.
The most votes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Additional votes.
But it doesn't. But the relationship doesn't feel natural.
Yeah.
And I like their interactions. You can tell just by how they talk to each other, the body language. It just feels like a natural pairing. Like they genuinely get along with each other. They have a genuine respect for each other.
Exactly.
And I think that goes a long way.
And I think I agree. Totally agree. We've seen it in the past. And it's like you said, both parties. It is what it is. It's just politics. Sometimes you have to end up choosing the candidate that you may not necessarily care for in the personal life, but you feel like this is going to be the best. Whether it's policy, maybe you guys agree on more policies than other candidates that you could have possibly chosen to be a running mate. But I definitely feel like they have a genuine care for each other and for each other's families. Watching them when they were sworn in, truly. And I just have to add this. Don't you just love George Bush and Michelle Obama's relationship?
Oh yeah, I absolutely love that.
Oh, I just love it.
And to me, it's one of those things like I didn't see that coming personally. But like when I see them interact with one another, it's like it's actually like a heartwarming moment anytime I see that.
Bipartisanship. It truly breaks down, and we touched on this when Chanya was on the show. You can't. We're never going to unite if there's no bipartisanship. Now we're going to always, I believe, have the two parties because policy and sometimes just platforms are going to be different, right? It is what it is. There's no right or no wrong to rhyme and reason. But you're never going to unite if you cannot have bipartisanship. And at the end of the day, I don't understand how, if you can have a family member that has different viewpoints, it could be a different viewpoint on how to raise a child. We have different viewpoints. It could be a different viewpoint on religion or church, or it can, because of our experiences are different. It could be a different viewpoint on how a relationship should go. I may have a debate with a friend of mine that may say, why do you make your man's plate? Because I want to, and I was raised seeing that. Another woman may think that that's not appropriate. It's just all about our experiences. But now if you can still spend time with that person, interact with that person respectfully, why is it that you can't do the same for someone who has and sometimes in your own family you'll have different political opinions, right? But you still interact, you still love them, you still care. So why is it that on the big scale we can't transition it and understand it is the same thing? So they are a prime example of bipartisanship in that, okay, some of our views may differ, but at the end of the day, we are human beings who respect each other, who have sentiment, who care for each other, and we are all American citizens at the end of the day. I don't plan on going anywhere. I don't. So I feel like I just love that is and I hope that we can use that as an example, especially during this time, because it's such a I feel like such a tense time in the country right now. So let's use them as just an example to see that, hey, we can still unite and genuinely, I want to say genuinely, we don't want the fake, but genuinely love and care about each other with our differences. So with that being said, we're going to take another break. I want to thank Vince again for being my co-host.
Thank you.
Because of extreme circumstances. And we'll be back in just a few, guys. All right.
Five, four, three, two, one, zero, ignition, liftoff.
Don't push me because I'm close to the edge.
I'm trying not to lose my head.
Hey, this is the Talk About Unity show where I bring the talk.
And I bring the unity.
And together we talk about unity.
Unity is what matters.
Come on.
And right now in our country, that's what we've got to do. So we do that here. Talk About Unity on the Edge Radio Network. Be with us every week.
It's going to be awesome. It always is. And I tell you what, the more we seek first to understand, then be understood, we make progress.
And we like to do that. And that's why everybody's on the brink. We love what we do at Edge Radio because everybody's on the edge. We bring them back from the edge and we bring the unity. So we're just glad to Edge Radio Network every Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. Talk about unity because here at Edge Radio Network, truth still matters.
Aren't you tired of not getting what you want in bed?
Are you ready to spice things up behind those closed doors?
Woo! We're here for you every hump day at 7 p.m.
This is Sex on the Edge with Jen and Hen. I'm Jennifer Reeves.
And I'm Hendrik Scott, and we are professional licensed sex therapists.
So remember to watch us Wednesday at 7 p.m. on Edge Radio TV, just in time for sexy time.
All right, moguls, so we are back. And I want to end the show with talking about what our hopes are for this country as we move forward. Thinking about Black history, thinking about the March on Washington, and what the hopes and dreams are and were for the country, for those individuals who were participants in that specific march. And of course, we know that when they marched back then, they were marching for freedom as well as for employment, for jobs. So those were the two platforms for the initial march that we know Martin Luther King was the final speaker, and his wonderful, just unparalleled speech, I Have a Dream. And so it's so interesting that it's 2021 and we are literally divided, I'm going to say split in the middle almost as a nation, honestly, with our ideals of where the nation should go. I think that with this election and with President Biden and Vice President Harris, I think that we will be able to mend. I feel as though when they have their press conferences, they definitely are speaking more so from the heart. You don't just feel like it's a politician, right, up there, which they are politicians. And so that is definitely part of it. But they seem to be speaking from a genuine place, from a heartfelt place and that they genuinely are wanting to unite the country. So I want us to take time to say to ourselves, what can I do to unite the country? I think, and I'll say this, I see a lot of things on Instagram events. You may feel differently, or you may agree that we're talking about Black History Month. From my African American sisters and brothers that really aren't gonna unite us. It's a lot of negative for whatever reason, and I understand that it's a sensitive moment right now in the country, but that's not gonna unite us. I feel like as though we need to self-reflect and think about, if we're going to praise and honor Martin Luther King, okay, what did he actually say that he wanted for the country? He wanted us all to unite. Black, white, purple, green, right? So some of the rhetoric that I see on Instagram, I don't really do Facebook, but on Instagram, to me, it's just perpetuating us, being divided. So I want us to take the time to say, okay, what can I do, whether it be in my sphere of influence, using my social media, the conversations that I've had. And I'll be honest with you, being a campaign manager, I was in Fort Bend County, and we know you have a lot of strong opinions in Fort Bend County. I've had to deal with some pretty racist individuals, but I had to take a breath and say, okay, if I go back and forth, this person's never going to listen to anything that I'm saying, right? So I had to kind of humble myself and intelligently and genuinely express my feelings towards them, because if you're being combative, you're never going to ever have a chance to see the other person's perspective, right? So with that being said, moving forward, what are you going to do as an individual? If you have children, what are you going to do as a parent with instructing and teaching your child how to treat others, even if they have different viewpoints? My daughter's at a school that is, I'm going to just say, the area that we're near is a Trump, I call it Trump, Trump country. But, she would come home, Mom, a lot of the kids have their Trump pins on their backpacks, and, I hear some of the things they're saying. I'm like, well, Brooke, hey, we are in America. They have their freedom to have their own beliefs and viewpoints, the same way you have your own beliefs and viewpoints. You still want to remain respectful to whomever you're dealing with, regardless of what, their beliefs and viewpoints are. And that can be hard at times if you feel like some of those may be extreme, but it is what it is. So how do you feel about that, Vince? Do you feel as though we should be focusing on more positive rhetoric as we're putting out, especially during this time being so sensitive?
Yeah, we should. I mean, but that definitely has to go both ways.
Definitely.
I've seen so much, like even when you talk about the kids at your daughter's school with the Trump pins or whatever the pro-Trump stuff they have, and like in any typical, I guess, 4-year period, it is what it is. But like but this administration has been so, I want to choose my words, I guess, correctly.
I mean, Trump's administration.
But they've been Trump's administration has been so divisive, and so not about unity, and like and then like on dates of like Martin Luther King's birthday, or Martin Luther King Day, they will post Martin Luther King quotes and pictures, and it's like that. It's like
a facade.
It falls on deaf ears, because it's like, who are you trying to kid? You spend all year being divisive and trying to pit people against each other, and then you pick one day out the year to post positive things, and that's, I don't know, it's strange to me.
It is very.
It's extremely weird. So, but I do think we need to come together. I mean, that was the crux of his message, for us to come together. And but even, I mean, I even see it on the other side, where it's like they'd rather take the low road at times, or they'd rather take a cheap shot, and it's like, come on, we're better than that, or at least we should be. Because like we can be. Yeah,
we can be better. It starts with each individual, myself, you. How we're interacting with each other, with strangers. how are you utilizing your platforms, whatever that platform may be.
Mm-hmm.
Are you putting out, distributing love or positivity, or are you perpetuating those negative ideals? And it, like you said, it definitely comes from both sides. It is what Democrats and Republicans always say. When you work in the political world, you're able to kind of look outside and step outside yourself and know that all Democrats aren't great people. All Democrats aren't horrible people. There's both sides to that party, the same as Republicans. All Republicans aren't horrible people. All Republicans aren't great people. And you're able to look outside of, those party lines. Now, I will say that I'm hopeful that more Republicans are, and I feel hopeful about it. I feel like we're going to have more of a working together at the Capitol.
I think you're seeing even right now.
Yeah,
it's a slow shift, but it's shifting. You're seeing it a little bit. Even the few number of Republicans who voted to impeach Trump. Yeah, I mean, like before that was unthinkable. Before there was no way anyone was going to side. No, but now. Never. You see that slow shift, and who knows, the needle might not move a whole lot more, but the fact that it's moving at all, you're seeing that there are some who are willing to work together, who are willing to put the country above party.
Yes.
Which I think is extremely important.
Very noble. Like, oh my God, I just feel like, and like you said, we're not going to get that instant gratification, right, that we want. If that's in an ideal world, great, but it's a very intricate, political words are very intricate, and I'm gonna say industry because it is an industry as well. Very intricate world. The way it functions is very, very, like we talked about on the show with Chanya, the three branches of government. People forget how those intertwine, and I'm like, I share your sentiment that just seeing those few is like, okay, people are still putting the moral compass. Some are allowing themselves to put the moral compass before, politics. Because policy and politics, they do go hand in hand, but I kind of do separate them in my mind sometimes. So I feel like we're going to, not with instant gratification, guys, but I feel like we're kind of slowly gonna be able to go into us working together, meaning when I say us, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. I will say that I am a Democrat, but I do have some Republican candidates that I do like. So sometimes you can cross party lines, which is a whole nother show, straight party tickets.
Yeah.
I cannot stand.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
Yeah.
I don't get that either.
How are you going to like everybody in any group? We're not talking about the political world. Okay, the genre of all hip hop artists. Am I going to like all these hip?
I don't like everybody in my family.
Exactly. Exactly. Like
I love them.
You love them, but exactly.
But some,
you're not going to vote for all of them.
I wouldn't vote for you if you ran for office, though.
So how do you expect for us to? And some people blindly do. Just vote, and in some cases we're forced, especially in primaries. Now every state is different. For Texas, you have to in the primary. So that's one thing that maybe eventually we can do away with. I don't know. I don't think that'll happen anytime soon. But that's a conversation. All things start with simple conversations, right? But what can we do as individuals to be a part of that change and unite the nation? As for me, I want to continue genuine conversations with people of all walks of life. I want to increase that. I feel like I've had to, working in politics, had to do that, but be more intentional to have genuine conversations with maybe an individual who doesn't have the same viewpoint as I do. And I've done this on social media. I've started off a messaging, whatever post it may be, and it's kind of heated. And then I have to catch myself and say, okay, be mindful. And I may say, well, you know what? thank you for this conversation. It's okay for us to have different viewpoints as long as we, can respect each other and understand that as human beings, we're going to have differences. But at the end of the day, be respectful of one another. And I think being more intentional about being aware of how we're interacting, whether maybe you're at Target, shopping for a cute little outfit, and you overhear a conversation, or are you helping someone that you may not necessarily, think about helping, because like we talked about earlier, we get so caught up in our day-to-day, but just, helping someone or taking the time to speak to someone or that you may not have normally spoke to, and that could be at work as well.
Mm-hmm.
Someone that voted for Trump.
Yeah.
But they're not, such a bad person. And it's I know it's hard. Oh God, me even saying it.
Yeah, I've come across people, and I've actually, cause like I like to actually listen to people. I don't like to like pass judgment without actually hearing their side. And I know some people don't extend me that courtesy, but I like to do that.
Yeah.
But I've actually heard why some people voted for Trump, and like trying to like put myself in their position, I thought about it. I mean, they're not a young black man or seeing these things that happens in their community, and, so they're not a part of that world. They don't see those things. They're only thinking about how does my life get better?
Yeah, what are my experiences?
Yeah, like and what are my experiences? What have I gone through? And it's like, and when I look at it from that, like I can understand. I still want to have a conversation with you,
exactly,
but I can understand where you're coming from.
Exactly.
It's not just this blind I'm voting Republican thing. And like there are people who actually switched Republican when Trump ran. So I was wondering where that came from. And I just, here's some people out. Even some people I went to college with.
That's good.
And it was just like hearing that, it opened it up for me, because like, when you first hear the rhetoric, and when you hear from other people, oh, racist this, racist that, if you voted for Trump, you're racist. And I was like, I mean, I'm not going to say yes or no on that, because I'm not in that world.
And every individual is different.
Yeah, and I'll say, yeah, absolutely. But at least let me figure out, what's going on here. At least with people that I know who voted for Trump.
Exactly.
I can at least because I can have civil conversations with them.
Exactly.
Like, instead of like people like I see online who are just spewing stuff and they're looking to troll. Like I can talk to people who I actually know, who I actually I'm actually friends with, and we can have conversations. And you're like, oh, okay. Oh, I mean, I didn't think about it like that. I never thought about that. And at least, even if you don't agree with them, you at least understand where they're coming from. And you can still have a civil conversation.
Because I'm going to be honest with you, some people, and I had this conversation with, I think, about 3 different people. Some people literally could care less about anything else but the financial aspect of an administration, okay? Their whole ideal of the best administration for those 4 years is an administration to where their pockets will benefit at the highest. Like, they don't care about the rude tweets. They don't care about his ideals of racism or certain groups or the kneeling, or they literally could care less. And they have the same sentiment with the with whatever administration is leading the country. Literally, their main objective and reasoning for voting for a specific candidate is financially. Some people, is that wrong or right? I cannot say. I cannot say that hey, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're racist. It just means that, finances is what they hold, I guess, most important. And so you do have some people I've had conversations with that strictly voted because of financial reasons. But with that being said, I feel as though now, oh God, more than anything, and Black History, once again, Black History Month, we've come so far. We still have a ways to go, but we've come so far. But let us live out the sentiment that Martin Luther King had. And it truly was a sentiment of uniting. Like, this is the perfect time, right? I mean, since the civil rights, have we been has divided? Do you think?
I don't think so. It's funny. Well, I don't want to say funny. Funny is the wrong word. But some of the stuff I've seen, like even like going back to the attack on the Capitol. Like, what do you think that stuff doesn't just come out of nowhere?
Exactly.
That you start stirring that pot.
That's extreme emotions,
and then eventually it's going to boil over. That's what that is. And it's been so divisive for so long. That was going to happen. Just like during the summer, you see enough black people being treated a certain way, and it's caught on camera. Oh, it's after a while.
Strong emotions from both sides.
You get sick of it after a while, because obviously you're not listening to our voices. So now we got to do other things.
Black history.
And that's just what it is.
And I must say I'm proud of the protests that have taken
absolutely
place because of that. I think they definitely have been.
Now I'm not comparing the two. The one attack on the Capitol. That's a whole different thing.
It was something totally different.
That's a whole different thing.
The protests regarding certain things such as George Floyd. The kneeling and all of that. Definitely keeping that that ball rolling as it pertains to those type of protests. And then once again, even those protests, have that have the underlying I think underlying platform of uniting, just equality, right? You can't unite if you're not equal, right?
Absolutely.
That's kind of oxymoron. You can't. It's impossible. If you're here and I'm there, or I'm here and you're there, uniting is kind of hard to get to. So I think that thank you so much, Vince. I have to thank you again. This has been such
thank you
a great co-hosting experience. I will say on that note, end with that sentiment, you guys. It's Black History Month. It's exciting. It's an exciting time. We won't be able to celebrate as we normally do, of course, due to COVID, as same as last year at the end of the month. But just taking that time to start at home. It all starts with you. How you interact with your family members. What are you teaching? What are you spewing to those that are closest to you in your sphere of influence? And how are you treating others that you interact with on a daily basis? Strangers that you may come across, individuals that you may not necessarily on a normal basis converse with, but just spreading love. This month, Black History Month for 2021, should be about spreading love and positivity. We don't want anything else from you. If you're celebrating Black history and you can't do that, then you're really not honoring and celebrating the way that our forefathers and those before us wanted us to. I feel as though. So I think that should be our purpose, not just for February, but for the remainder of the year, for a lifetime. Honestly, that's really how you should be living. If you're a mogul watching this show, moguls, a person of importance should be treating others as though they are people of importance, right? To me, that's what I would want. So let's just take that time to celebrate, and I will definitely share with you. Don't forget to follow